Merry Christmas YouTube and welcome to the Armourer with me Blue today, and I'm going to be giving some feedback on Kassai the Golden Sand now that her cards have been introduced to Talishar, and I got some games to kind of test the deck out. I am happy to kind of announce that deck does not struggle with generating gold. In fact, there are some turns where you can generate a lot of gold, because she generates gold whenever a sword hits. So in a Blood on her hands turn, we may be able to generate like 4, if not more, gold if we get to hit with every attack. So yeah, that said, I have changed the gloves to Braveforge bracers because the +1 damage on the Centauri Sabers actually helps them become a breakpoint, because many times you attack with a sword and play Blade Runner, that gives your next sword 3, becoming 5, and with the rest one resource, because you're mostly pitching heroes from this deck, you'll be able to use the bracers, pumping your Centauri Saber to 6, and now when your opponent tries to block it with your cards, if one of them is an attack action, it's going to get 7, which is actually a breakpoint, and it's going to hit and going to trigger your gold generation and whatnot. Crown of the Minion has felt very good, because we kind of want to be going second every time, because we really value the ability to dump our entire hand in the graveyard if our opponent decides to attack us for whatever reason, because we really do need fuel for Kassai's ability. And even if they don't attack us, Crown of the Minion going second is going to obviously allow us to have a gold token, which is going to allow us to basically pitch a yellow and then play all other cards from our hand in order to do our turn, which is once again getting us a lot closer to activating her ability and kind of continuing the gold generation. Gorganian Tome has felt pretty nice because it basically acts as a gold token within the deck. Same purpose kind of, has Courage of Bladehold, which is going to discount our swords whenever we needed to, right? For example, we kind of skipped a turn where we didn't create gold, or we don't have gold right now, we can just use the Bladehold to kind of simulate that same effect. Alternatively, if we get a bunch more cards that are going to help us create a bunch more gold with the release of heavy hitters, it's probably going to be a good idea to play something like Tunic in order to be able to play our Blade Runners for free every couple of turns, which is going to also be very cool. Then I've put in Blood on Her Hands back, because with Blood on Her Hands in the deck, Outland Skirmish and Spoils of War are actually relevant on hits now for our opponent. I have decreased Raise the Army because it's very difficult to kind of play your deck in a way where you're going to have excess amounts of gold, especially before playing Blood on Her Hands. And even then, you'd kind of have to play a very strange 4-5 hand turn where you get to attack with your sword, give it go again, play Raise the Army, then start paying for the soldiers. But it definitely seems like something that you're probably going to be playing into Guardians or like other slower matchups that do not have a lot of go again, so that you can kind of create 3 or 4 soldiers at the end of the game and then be able to just transform all of your yellow cards into 6 damage after you're attacking with your sword. Iron Song Determination, I'm testing only 2 copies right now, because this is only good if we activate Kassai's ability, and then again only if we activate Kassai's ability and then we have something to pump our first attack, because attacking for like 3 dominate isn't really all that threatening, you know, against decks that only run attacks. it's still going to pump the sabers to 4 if they decide to block it, which is decent, but with kind of the same reason of just giving dominate in order to force the on hits for Kassai and generating gold. We're playing push forward, which also costs 1 resource, which kind of lines up with Blade Runners and Spoils of War, to use 1 resource to give the attack go again, and then use the second resource for the second attack. Playing push forward, attacking with like 5, 7, 8, dominate, hitting, and generating gold. I'm still playing only 1 blue being Glint the Quicksilver because it's go again a neighbor, and it can also draw a card. It's just an insane card. Stroke of Foresight has been pretty cool in certain situations because we may be able to kind of discount our second swing with Stroke of Foresight, which is kind of good. But overall, at the end of the day, this may end up being cuttable. But yeah, overall, the happy thing is that I did cut Trading. Trading did not feel needed in the deck at all. And right now I'm going to jump into 2 fast replays that I'm going to kind of narrate over for a little bit to just see the deck in action. Let's get started with the first replay, which is going to be against Dorinthia. And I just want to say that basically the whole idea of these 2 replays is to just show how well and smooth the deck is able to function even before heavy hitters. It's not very high quality gameplay, there's a lot of misplays on both sides. It's obviously in a testing stage for both me and my opponent because they're playing some non-standard cards too. But yeah, overall it just aims to show that the deck is functional right now even without heavy hitters. So here we just attack, they block with almost everything, they come in with Dawnblade, with Go Again, we're just going to block it so it doesn't hit. We're going to go for Pitch of Blue, and a very cool thing about blues in Kassai basically is that they kind of pay for the entirety of your curve. They pay for the 2 swords, something like Blade Runner, which very often gives you the Go Again, but unfortunately with Kassai's ability I'm not sure we'll be able to play a large amount of blues. You know, right now as you've seen I'm on 3 blues, maybe we can go up to 6 or something like this, but it has felt very important and very good to just have a consistent Kassai ability every turn we can. Here we see why Glint is so amazing, because it not only gave me Go Again and drew me a card, but also the card it drew me was a 0 for 3 attack reaction that allowed me to hit and generate both the copper and the gold. And as I said in the deck tech, it is entirely possible against decks that are maybe going to block us a little bit better to just play Tunic, because Tunic is going to give us that 3rd resource that we need whenever we do not have the gold token every 3 turns, and that's going to make our I guess matchups where we are getting blocked a lot more are going to become smoother with Tunic. It's also of course possible that they release an entirely new armor piece, and also in these replays you will see me using Iron Song Versus, and if you look closely, if I miss the moments, you're going to see that Iron Song Versus does absolutely nothing ever, and in a lot of the cases where I have mana resources left over to use for Iron Song Versus, it would have been a lot better used on something like Braveforge Bracers. So here I'm going to use Kassai's ability again, go for Centauri Saber, and I believe I have, yeah, I played the hit and run here to give it a go again. I'm going to activate Iron Song versus, they're going to block for 5 here, could have been 6 in order to force them to block with even more. You know, I managed to play my attack reaction, so it didn't really matter there, but could have gotten like 1 more damage. Here I'm going to get like the courage, but it's also going to mean absolutely nothing against Dorinthia because she does not play attacks, so she can just block our weapons for 3 and they'll just stay at 2. Here we see one incredibly big turn from Dorinthia where she attacks us with a card that gives her a go again if she hits, and I kind of forget that and kind of allow her to hit for whatever reason, and from there on her attacks just become incredibly big. And yeah, I mean, in that turn she played the whenever you hit draw a card as well as your swords gets dominate. This turn, you can see that because I have not recorded this part of the screen, but it was just an incredibly strong turn. And it's very cool to see that even without any of the heavy hitters incoming support that we're all hoping that this character gets, the game is going to be a lot closer even after that insane turn off of Dorinthia where she attacked us for like 20 something and we were at like 10 life deficit or something like this. Here we're going to see how insane Blood on Her Hands can be in this deck, which is another reason why I wanted to show this replay. I'm just going to block for 6 here, hoping she doesn't have any reaction. She's going to go for Nourishing. I have to take it. It has Dominate here. I'll have to manually apply the effect of a gold token because last turn we played Starting Stake and Telishard didn't want to give us a gold token. So here I'm just going to manually play it. So I'm going to go for Blood on Her Hands using all 5 copper we have created. And even though we don't have the old Kassai ability that allows us to make more copper, we were still able to generate 5, which is, you know, enough. We usually want to generate at least 4 because 4 allows us to use cash in for 4 coppers, and it also allows us to use Blood on Her Hands very effectively. So here all the swords have, both swords have go again, both swords can attack an additional time, one of the swords has +1 and when you wear Maltis, so it's going to be able to wager. So this is going to be an attack for 6 and then 6 again, so that's like 12, while also creating gold on each attack because we used Kassai's ability. And that was off of 2 cards, right? So we did like 12 or 13 damage, created 5 gold off of 2 cards. Here a misplay that I did was pitch my other Starting Stake for something I don't remember, because just arsenal a Starting Stake in this stage of the game was going to be suicidal basically. But I should have just pitched it because it was a yellow to the gold token in order to kind of filter until I find a good card to arsenal, which Blade Runner would have been. Which means that here I would have had like an additional card in hand, which would have kind of transferred into another 3 damage or something like this. And you'll see she kind of lives on 3 or like close to 3, I believe. With 1 armor up, it would not have mattered, but the game ends up being pretty close. The game ends up being very, very close in my opinion, especially especially when you consider her insane turn and our deck just being the new hero and nothing else. So yeah, and you got to see how much gold she can create and how in certain matchups maybe the play is going to be kind of try to push through your copper generation in order to then be able to play a very good Blood on Her Hands turn that is going to generate you a whole lot of gold. That is then going to allow you to play her new specialization for a whole lot of soldiers, maybe. Here we're going to play against Riptide. Going first is a little bit unfortunate because with Kassai, going second seems to be what you want to do, because the gold token off of the Crown of Dominion is going to allow you to always have a very nice turn, unless you draw 4 reds. And if your opponent ever attacks you first, you'll be incredibly happy to just throw your entire hand in the graveyard just to have it as a fuel for Kassai's ability. And with that in mind, in this game my turn 1 was a little bit of a misplay, because I just attacked with the sword and arsenal. With my experience now from playing the deck, I'd say the best turn 1 is use as many cards as you can off of your hand while still keeping a good arsenal, once again in order to fuel your graveyard with resources for her ability. Here he's going to play Collapsing Trap, which is really going to hurt me because I had the Copper Enabler as well as another Copper Go Again generator ready to set, and we only generated 2 copper here. He's going to attack for 8 with Endless Arrow, and here I believe I'm going to block with everything and just swing with the Centauri Saber, because just giving him back his Endless Arrow is going to give him plenty of value. And also I'm kind of aware of like the downsides of Riptide, and one of his downsides is that a lot of his hands kind of struggle to utilize 4 cards, and we'll see that on display right here, I believe, where he's just going to pitch and attack me for 6 and nothing else, you know, just using 2 of his cards. And here we have a 5-card hand over Spoils of War in the graveyard, but what can you do? And you're going to notice that here we don't even have a gold token yet, because I believe we don't have a yellow card in play yet. But I'll have to pitch my yellow card here because I want to attack with the sword and have Stroke of Foresight as a backup attack reaction. And if they don't block my entire weapon, which they don't, I wanna save the Stroke of Foresight for a turn where it's going to actually push damage that's going to be generating either copper or gold, because I really want those tokens on the field, right? Like the Kassai deck really gets a lot better with that. We see him just arsenaling 2 cards and passing, and he's going to have a bunch of those turns during this game. Maybe his deck is not that great, maybe that's what Riptide does, I'm not sure. But we're going to take full advantage of this, attacking yet again with the Centauri Saber into rush through generating gold, because we activated Kassai's ability. I'm just going to use Stroke of Foresight here to just clear my my hand. He's going to play the trap, it doesn't matter because I don't have Arsenal anyway. For whatever reason we did not create a gold token off of the second attack, but what can you do? He's going to attack for 6, I think we'll have to take that. Oh no, I decided not to take that. I decided I'm just going to be swinging with Swinging with sabers, which is still decent, right? I'm just going to go saber, blade runner, saber. Here he's going to start blocking with down and dirty, which is very good for us because down and dirty effectively only blocks one, and I'm not really sure why he even played those. But this is yet another moment where Centauri Saber, where Iron Song versus being Brave Forge Bracers would have been better, because the +1 there would have mattered and I would have hit him instead of doing absolutely nothing with that additional resource. Here, unfortunately, I'll have to pitch 2 reds in order to activate my copper. To activate my gold, I believe, and I was kind of hoping for him to start blocking in order for me to play Glint Quicksilver, which was very greedy in my opinion, if I have to be honest, but he didn't. So we only created 1, I believe. He's going to attack me for 6 again. This is kind of fine. I guess I'll block 4 here with Iron Song response, because I have Glint for whenever he decides to block. I mean, I'll have to pitch the Glint in order to be able to attack, but nevertheless, I'm going to attack for 5. He's going to block me with the Spike Trap, and because I played the reaction, he's going to Mew Maneuver Maltese, deal 1 damage to me, deal 1 damage off of activating a trap. The trap is from hand, so I'll be able to use the Glint that I had in Arsenal, attack with the second Centauri Saber. The first one created copper, so this game, despite having 2 of my Spoils of Wars discarded, I still managed to generate 4 copper, and you will now witness what you can do with the coppers. And one of the things you can do with the coppers is just use 4 coppers for cash-in, and cash-in is just an insanely strong card. Here he's going to attack us for 4, and he played Premeditate, and then he's going to play Intoxicating Shot. I'm going to use the thing below here to just cleanly block out the Ravenous Rabble. I think my turn is going to be huge with these cards in my hand, as well as the trade-in, the cash-in, excuse me, from Arsenal, which is going to put me at 5 cards, as well as my swords being free. And I believe I activate Kassai's ability, I activate everything, and I start attacking for 7, it becomes 8. I'm going to give it go again, and +3 to the next attack is going to be for 9. So this is 8 into 9, that's going to become 10 if he blocks it. He almost dies here, and I generate the 1 gold, which also kind of doesn't make sense because I believe I hit him twice, but it doesn't matter. He's going to attack us for 9 back while being at only 1 health, and I'm going to just use the gold for another trade-in. Right, and we're going to use Hit and Run into attack with Saber, attack with Saber. Here I should have used my Iron Song response, but I misplayed, I was lost in the sauce. And he is going to just block the second Saber with New Horizon, which is going to allow him to live yet another turn with a 3-card hand, but we still have the Iron Song response in Arsenal, so we only need to keep 1 card, pitch it for a Saber, and then just react whenever he goes for the block. He's going to go for go again. We're going to block it with Dynamo and a card, and he's going to then go for a6, which if it hits is going to generate him another Arsenal. There's no way we allow it to hit. We're going to block it again. And here we are just going to go for game. at the end. We should have went for game last turn, but what can you do? So yeah, basically what this last replay aimed to show is just how powerful cash-in is in this deck, especially in these hands where you have 4 copper or 1 gold on the field, and you go for keep all 4 cards in my hand, play cash-in from the arsenal, end up with like 6 cards in hand, and my swords are free, and I can go for like all the buffs or something like this and just attack twice for like 20. You know, you can do the opposite, which is like block with everything into play trade in, draw into 2 cards. Hopefully one of them is something that gives my swords go again, like hit and run. Or maybe I draw a yellow with Blade Runner, allowing me to go for essentially 2 with the sword, then 5 with the second sword off of the Blade Runner if it's a red one, and 1 remaining resource that I can put in the Braveforge Bracers to basically make it a attack for 8 off of 1 card being the cash-in. So yeah, the deck just feels amazing. Cash-in looks like a power card, the Blood on Her Hands looks like a power card, and yeah, tell me what are your expectations of the deck, have you tested it, how do you feel about it, and yeah, see you next time, bye bye.